Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Homestand TV. I'm your host, Celine Tremarky, alongside my co-host, Justin Pooney. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they won last night 5-1 against the Washington Capitals at home. Honestly, it was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. John Tavares played his 1,000th career game. Morgan Rielly finally got a goal all season. Yes, that is right.
Number one, first goal all season.
First goal all season. Second period, big comeback from the guys. There was 4 goals that period. They held off Washington. Overall, solid performance. Matt Murray, he's on the IR.
He is.
TJ Brodie is off the IR. And Austin Matthews, as most of you know, he has a knee injury, and he's not expected to be back until mid-February, which honestly, bummed it happened, but happy it happened now.
Yeah.
Rather than closer to the playoffs or in the playoffs, because that would not have been good.
And I think the biggest thing with this whole Matthews injury is, when you think about it, just take your time. You're probably not going to catch Boston. You're pretty much locked in that number 2 seed. If it takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, just make sure Austin Matthews is healthy. That knee is 120%, right? That he is fully healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, because you're going to need him, right? But the game last night was good. Nice to see John Tavares, the ceremony for the 1,000th game. He got 2 assists. Talk about how nice of a moment it was for him. It's kind of surprising that John Tavares has played 1,000 games.
He seems so young.
And I feel like, because I just remember seeing him play in the World Juniors back in Ottawa, like at that tournament or whatever. All that, him playing in the with the Islanders. Wow, it's really been that
Justin?
long.
You want to know why?
It's because I'm getting old.
That's because we're getting old. We're getting old.
Yeah, no, I get, yeah, exactly. I think I'm good. We're just getting old. But also good for Morgan Rielly to finally score after getting that big contract, all those expectations. Morgan Rielly, right?
60 mil.
60 million
60
bucks.
mil.
First. Now he's obviously been injured, right? He's had to deal with some injuries and stuff like that. But look, the Leafs, they'll be fine. I think with the Leafs, TJ Brodie's coming back. You got to be worried about Matt Murray, though. Injuries have been persistent this year. And can you really rely on Joseph Wall and
Samson up this frame?
He's playing good, but can you lean on him, though, in the playoffs?
I mean, what he's proven last night against a former team.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'm a little bit worried about the goaltending situation now with this Murray injury. That makes me more inclined to bring up what I brought up a couple of weeks ago. Does that mean the Leafs are out there to go look at it, get a goalie insurance policy, another goalie, a guy they can, if need be, can be out there, or do they stick with Joseph Wall as their backup and Samsonov gets the run? So I'm interested to see the goaltending aspect. As we've been saying all year, the goaltending situation with the Leafs is the biggest storyline for me right now, because the rest of the team is doing fine. That's
been the biggest story. I think since the beginning of the year was, are we going to have good goaltending? But yeah, like you're saying with Matt Murray's constantly getting injured.
I think our producer said he's made out of glass. I didn't say it. Our producer said it. I won't throw him under the bus by name, but our producer said it.
I can hear them talking in my ear. Yeah, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. He said that. Well, yeah, honestly, the Toronto Maple Leafs, solid team overall. Just the goaltending, that's the only thing. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we just hit February now. We still have a couple more months to go before the playoffs. But another team that probably won't even see the playoffs, or could, if they make a run.
Your Stanley Cup prediction team, right?
Stanley, I get it wrong every year. I will say it's so hard to predict the Stanley Cup.
Of course
winner.
it is. But
because, think about the St. Louis Blues, for example. If the beginning of the year, would you say, oh, the St. Louis Blues are going to win the Stanley Cup? No, you wouldn't have said that.
No.
And then look, they won. And so I said the Calgary Flames. I love how they just switched it.
Yeah, right. That's good. Look, the Calgary Flames. The Canucks have been horrible, but the Calgary Flames have been up and down, up and down. And we knew it was going to take some time because they had massive changes, right? You bring in Huberdeau, you bring in Kadri, you lose Goudreau, you lose Kachuk. How are they going to fit into Mackenzie Weegar was brought in? How is it going to fit into Daryl Sutter's system? They've dealt with some injuries. But look, I think Calgary's been one of the biggest disappointments of the season so far because of what was expected of them before the season started. Everybody's like, you weren't the only one that said they're going to be a Stanley Cup contender, right?
Yes.
And the fact that they've been this inconsistent, they haven't had any they haven't won more than 3 straight games all year. The Calgary Flames have been a very big disappointment. Now, Chris Tanev has been hurt. Jacob Markman's not playing as well as he played last year. Huberdeau and Kadri have been kind of, it took Huberdeau a while to get his footing, and now he's finally found it. But the Calgary Flames, I think, are kind of that whole cup contention window there is kind of closed in my opinion. I think the Calgary Flames are I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year.
Honestly, probably not when you really look at it like that. But I will say against Seattle and against Tampa, they did play a much better game.
But that's what I'm saying.
Physical,
They play good games against good teams, and then they play bad against bad teams.
Exactly, against Chicago for example. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's still February. If they want to like go on a run, hopefully we can see it happen. But by the looks at it with the inconsistency, it's probably not going to happen. But I mean, look, this is their first year, this type of team with Huberdeau, Weegar, Kadri. So, I mean, off-season, they'll get better, come back next year.
But the thing is, they gave all those guys big money, right?
Big money.
And what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They can't really, they've kind of, this is the bed they've made.
Now they got to lay in it.
Now they got to lay in it. Or the mess they made, now they got to lay in it, right? So,
yep.
It's dicey times in Calgary. I said when they signed Kadri and they got Huberdeau, if they don't win a Stanley Cup or make a big playoff run in the first couple of years, those contracts are going to be the biggest anchors and sink that franchise.
Yep, you did say that.
I did say that.
You did say that. It's true. You're not wrong at all.
I'm not.
Now, speaking of staying on the west side, we'll go
even in the province of Alberta.
The province of Alberta, Edmonton Oilers. Let's talk about that. So, Jay Woodcroft, he put in Matt Berlin for like the last couple minutes of the game. I mean, Edmonton was up 7-3, so they already knew they had the game in the bag. I'd laugh if Chicago actually came back and won that game.
No chance.
But they didn't.
No.
They didn't. To make his dreams come true, I mean, he signed that one-day contract with the NHL because they had Skinner who wasn't fit to play that game. So they threw him in. A couple minutes left. Honestly,
what a feel-good story.
Yeah, what a feel-good.
I think that was my favorite story of the weekend in the NHL was like, and what Jay Woodcroft said, he's like, the players wanted it, right? And I think that shows you just the bond and brotherhood that these teams have. And a small thing like this, I think, could boost morale of a team and really propel them. The Oilers are playing a lot better now. Evander Kane scored his first goal back from his injury. So I think everything around the Oilers right now is on a feel-good story.
It really is. I mean, it was a class act, too, from the Edmonton Oilers. And he did end up making a save, too, against Caleb Jones. So that must feel really good. I mean, he made one save, but who cares?
He's made a save in the NHL.
Yeah.
Who would not want to make a save
Everybody
in the NHL?
in the stands is going crazy over that one save. I mean, that's a real feel-good.
Real feel-good moment in the NHL.
Real feel-good moment, yeah. Remember when the Toronto Maple Leafs
lost to a Zamboni drive?
I'm sorry, I had to put it because he was like the emergency goalie they chucked in for Carolina.
I was reading up on this last night. All the articles start off with remember the Leafs lost to Zamboni driver as the emergency backup goalie?
Honestly, it's a funny story when you think about it. I mean, it hurt for a bit, but now it's funny when you think about it. But this class act, we love to see it. Hopefully we get to see this more often too in the NHL.
For sure.
But something that just got brought up to us before we started the show, Bobby Hall, a former Chicago Blackhawks player, has passed away at the age of 84. I mean, he was one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. And it's sad when this happens, when you see these legends go. I mean, like we were saying, like we are getting older, and the sad and scary thing is we're going to see more of this happening. But he had a great career, and he's going to be very missed by the Chicago Blackhawks organization and everybody who just loves hockey.
Yeah, I think like a lot of newer hockey fans might not know who Bobby Hall is, but of course he's the father of Brett Hull, and both of them are probably two of the greatest goal scorers the NHL's ever seen. They called him the Golden Jet for a reason. If you ever tonight go home, watch some YouTube highlights of Bobby Hall, and you can just see the speed, the shot, all of that. And he's definitely an NHL legend, Hockey Hall of Famer, and will definitely be missed by the rest of the NHL community.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on that note, this is all from us today. I am Celine Schmarkey alongside with my co-host Justin Pooney. We will see you back here on Wednesday to chat more NHL.